Hey guys, we are here with the crew from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You guys are just going into season 2, starting this week. Ciro, I'll start with you. What would you say is the main sort of theme, main story this season?
We tried to switch things up this season a little bit. We definitely have this whole running line where basically it becomes like a bit of a scavenger hunt for monsters. So it's like monsters run amok because they've just lost so much mutagen around the city. And it just kind of gives you a nice foundation for the turtles kind of act like scientists and running around and learning more about mutagen. And of course, you always have that underlying story of just like that samurai shogun revenge family thing between Shredder and Splinter that's always going. Well, we actually had to find ways to distract that because it's so strong.
Speaking of that, Hoon, there's plenty going there. They had a big battle.
Yep.
I'm guessing the first of more to come. Can you talk about?
No, absolutely not. I think it's done. Pretty much,
yeah, that's
pretty
it.
much
That's
over.
it. They're all good.
No, it's been great to see that rivalry and that hatred and that feud really bubble up, and it was percolating for such a long time. So now I think that with the setup of season 1, season 2, you start to see what happens in the aftermath of all of that coming to the fore and all of the results and consequences that come of that. And I'm as excited as anyone else to see it because I don't get to see it before anyone else does on the screen. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, speaking of that, he was talking. Ciro was saying that turtles are going to get their scientist hats on a little more. Yeah. Will that go for Michelangelo as well?
He gets to get his intelligence on, and you'll see another side of Mikey. I mean, he consistently through the show, he's evolving and growing up a little bit. Right?
Yeah, Mikey's fun because he has We started at the youngest place with him, so you probably will see an evolution in him more than the other guys in terms of his, I don't want to say his intelligence, but his maturity.
And he can't get better looking, so he's
already at the pinnacle there. There's no way.
And he can't get better ninja skills, so it's just a matter of intelligence.
And
that just comes through experience.
He is the most enlightened of the gang. I will say that.
We know a big, obviously, introduction this season is Casey Jones. Can you talk about bringing that character in and what that's going to sort of bring to the mix?
Well, Casey was great because we really wanted to wait and really establish the relationships of the turtles. So bringing him in finally season 2, where all that stuff is cemented so well, was so great to just have that ability to mix the stories up a little bit more and have this guy who's like the 5th turtle and whether he does or doesn't get along with guys. But the biggest challenge with Casey was, how do we introduce this guy who's basically a homicidal maniac in previous incarnations, like, into this group and make him likable and, kid-friendly. And so we really explore kind of the evolution of him as a character. And we take a few episodes, actually 3, to really get to the place where he becomes the Casey that we all are used to seeing, that was a lot of fun. I mean, he has a different relationship with every person on the team. So
that is a good lead-in for what I was about to ask, which is obviously we know Casey sort of always has a strong Raphael dynamic, but can you talk about what does Splinter make of him?
You should talk about that more.
Well, I mean, I think Splinter kind of treats everyone that comes into the lair the same way. First, he's like, "What are they doing here?" And then second, it's just kind of like, "All right, you can stay for dinner." Like it's always like, like.
Do I sound like that?
No, that's me, like being really
not
qualified to do your job.
It's always funny to hear Ciro do all the like. He does the voices sometimes before we get to do them, like for an animatic if he fixes lines or something.
Yeah.
And it's always funny to hear Ciro do all the voices of all the turtles, Splinter, everybody.
It's a little freaky. My Mikey's okay though.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, anyway.
Let's hear it.
No, I don't have any lines. You have to give me a line. Anyway.
Well, what does Mikey make of Casey Jones?
Well, Casey's. I think Mikey's the easiest because Mikey is the most accepting, so he's just there. But the thing about Splinter that's really funny is that actually Casey's terrified of rats. We set that up.
Right.
So when he first sees Splinter, he like completely just kind of melts down a little bit.
Worst nightmare come to life.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to play Mikey, sort of bouncing off a new character like that?
Oh, it's cool. It just creates another dynamic, another family dynamic, and it's fun to witness. Donnie get jealous. Because the April thing.
Yeah.
And it's just another dude for Mikey to hang out with. So it's cool.
Let's talk about Karai, because there's a lot going on with her. Obviously now Splinter knows the truth. Can you talk about how he's gonna deal with all of that?
Well, basically, it's not just the Splinter. it's a very layered thing, and which is what's great about it. It's like we can really take our time with it. So you have, it's revealed to Splinter finally. That happened, I think, at the end of season 1, and then but there's going to be a bit of time before, he actually feels comfortable enough to share it with the turtles. Will the turtles believe it? How would they deal with it? And then when is Karai really going to accept this as truth? And what is that going to do to everybody? So all that gets explored in season 2, and we really take our time with it. But that's been a lot of fun to play with. Karai actually becomes a really strong story point of season 2. We focus a lot on her, especially towards the end.
What's it like for you, Hoon? Animation is great because only in animation can you be like, I play an animated rat who is the father of Kelly Who.
Right, exactly. I have to say I've said this sort of thing before, but it's such a different exercise from television or film or stage acting, because you're trying to convey as much as possible through a single part of your body, like your voice, and you are also really putting a lot of trust in the people that are actually bringing that to life, bringing that performance to life in a visual way, an exciting way. And there's nothing better than feeling like you're very much supported in whatever you're going to do by the team that's collaborating with you, and that's been the great blessing of it. I will say that it's really awesome to be able to hear how the other actors approach it as well, and to say kind of like, oh, I kind of see what they're doing here, and to be able to ping pong off of those things as well. Rob comes to mind just because Rob Paulson, just because he's been such an industry veteran for so long, and obviously the things that Greg's doing is just phenomenal, and sort of sculpting out a character and a whole attitude. And
my performance as the pizza delivery boy.
Pizza delivery
Which
boy
was my
really
role
hits
at
the
first,
top.
by the way.
Stole it from
Yeah,
you.
he did. I was pizza boy, but now Ciro's the delivery.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Let's hear it again.
Buy one, get one free.
See, look at that, huh? Acting.
Lastly, guys, the show is going into season 2. When something new, Ninja Turtles launches a new version, all the fans are going to have their trepidation. Now the show's been so well received. You're picked up through season 3. Starting with you, Greg, what's it been like to sort of see the fan reaction over the past year?
Oh, it's amazing to just see it snowball. I feel like finally we've hit that point where it's as big or bigger than the 80s series. And it's rad. People are so excited, and they love the show, and yeah, it's going to keep growing. Yeah.
What about you, Ciro? Obviously you knew going in, like, okay, the fans need to be won over.
Yeah, well, it was really weird because I worked on this in a very lonely bubble for such a long time, and then finally got a crew, and then that was then we learned to be lonely again, and then and then one day you go to Target and there's a shopping cart in front of you in line with it's a Target plug. I need my check. Just full of action figures, and you hear brother and sister squabbling over which figure they want and what's their favorite, and then. Last night, I was just hanging out in New York, and someone started texting me photos of hey, look at this guy dressed like Casey Jones, and it was my Casey, and it was just kind of you go, wow, that's just that's when it really kind of hits you. It's in these moments, the reality of it in the moment, is just intense sometimes and gratifying.
Yeah, because there's so much love that goes into this show.
And Hoon, for you, what's it been like?
I
Part of Turtles.
I think that the best thing is that we've seen a lot of people that were initially skeptical, who were fans of earlier incarnations, really come over to this side of the fence, and that means I think that the team has done a great job in preserving what was special about the property to begin with, and about the characters to begin with, without making it a retread. And I think that's probably the hardest thing you can do, is preserve what's at the core of something that's already been successful. So that's a huge validation.
Yeah, and Hoon's a old Mirage fan. So
that's right.
it's a gas for him.
Well, Nickelodeon knows what they're doing.
Well, guys, thanks so much. Have a great time at your panel, and keep it here at IGN for more from New York Comic Con. Thanks.
Booyakasha! I almost ripped my pants.
Oh! Bonus.